Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today we have to cover a very important topic in machine learning, which is dimensionality reduction. Okay, and Monte Carlo approximation. Monte Carlo approximation is not a difficult topic to understand. वो हम आखिर में करेंगे. So dimensionality reduction का क्या मतलब होता है? What does it mean? Dimension. What's a dimension? Number of features is the dimension, right? Why would we need to reduce it? Why is simpler? When you have algorithms like random forest and XGBoost, then why you need to remove the features which are yes. एक सेकंड में इनकी बात सुनो जी. तो कहाँ लिखा हुआ है? Is it true? If the features are correlated with each other, then that leads to overfitting. Could be possible. It could be possible. It could be possible because there is redundant information. एक चीज जो हमने डिस्कस किया है वो ये है कि if there are correlated features which are moving together in the same direction, like if I move in direction X, the other feature also moves in direction X, so I am correlated with that. So maybe I don't need myself and also that. Maybe I can remove that feature or I can remove myself. समझ आ रही है? और remember कि every column is a vector and every row is also a vector. ये तो अब आपको कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर होना चाहिए कि ट्रेनिंग डेटा में every row can be treated like a vector and every column is also a vector. So like when you do box plot analysis and all this, so each one column is a vector, right? It's one whole vector of information. So it is possible for features to be correlated, and that correlation can disturb the learning of my machine learning hypothesis. So I have to ensure that if there are correlations, then I understand them. And if it is possible for me to reduce the number of features, then I should do it, because like इन्होंने कहा, क्या नाम है आपका? Yusuf told us कि to make the problem simpler, मतलब इसका ये है कि learning will become easier because I don't have to learn that much information as compared to the case in which I'm considering all the dimensions. सही है ना? So obviously that is why we do feature selection or dimensionality reduction. Feature selection methods are basically 3 types. We'll do them in the next class, but this topic is very typical to machine learning. ठीक है? वो wrapper methods होते हैं, 2 और methods हैं उसके. So all the methods of feature selection can be categorized in these 3 methods. But what we're going to do today is the base of feature selection. ठीक है? So dimensional reduction means to reduce the number of features. इसका मतलब basically ये है. ठीक है? So let's start on a very difficult journey. Hi, multivariate Gaussian. By now you know कि इसका मतलब क्या है, right? So I got a training data consisting of all numbers. There is no string, right? And let's assume they're all numbers, not binary numbers, integers or real numbers. So if I assume that every column follows a normal distribution or the Gaussian, so the joint distribution of the whole training data can be termed as the multivariate normal. ये तो concept clear है ना? आप hourly फारिग हुए हैं. So that's called the it could be given different names. So multivariate normal is one of them. You can also call it the Gaussian mixture. ये भी नाम इस्तेमाल किया जाता है, Gaussian mixture. ठीक है? Is the most widely used joint probability density function for continuous variables. अब let me just turn down this WhatsApp. Problem ये है कि as machine learning specialists or machine learning engineers or data engineers, whatever आप अपने आप को कहना चाहें, you are not really calculating the multivariate normal density function as a data scientist, right? तो आप शायद ही कभी ऐसा काम करें, लेकिन there will be algorithms जिसमें आपको इस चीज का knowledge होना जरूरी है कि what do you mean by a multivariate Gaussian. So if you want to understand your training data, and you know my data follows the multivariate Gaussian mixture right now, so that might help you make some assumptions about the data. Okay, all the columns are normally distributed, and you might not be working on calculating the probability of this joint PDF, लेकिन उसका knowledge जो है वो आपको help करेगा. And typically, जैसे उसने लिखा हुआ ना कि this is the most widely used joint PDF in the world. ठीक है, क्योंकि ये हमने पढ़ा था when we started the Gaussian distribution के almost all the data in the world is likely to follow the Gaussian distribution, barring a few cases जैसे Poisson के थे या binomial के थे कि arrival time है ये टाइप, इन कुछ चीजों को हटा के there are at least 15 to 20 distributions which are famous. हमने तो 6-7 किए ना, उसके अलावा भी हैं Dirichlet distribution, Weibull distribution, beta distribution, but their relationship to machine learning is not very strong. चाहिए तो knowledge आपके पास होना चाहिए. So this is the density function. तो उसको हम express किस तरह कर रहे हैं? Let me just yeah. So n, you know, that's the normal function, right? X is the data, mu is the mean, or you can say the mean vector, and this is the notation for something which we call the covariance matrix. So covariance matrix is one of the most important concepts in dimensionality reduction. So you must understand it very, very clearly. So मैंने इसलिए when I was started this in the morning, I started right after Fajr prayers, और मैं 3:30-4 बजे फारिग हुआ हूँ. तो जब मुझे पता चला कि ये है, तो I had to include many slides to understand covariance matrix myself, क्योंकि मैं खुद भूला हुआ था. So it's very important to understand. ठीक है? So the joint multivariate normal can be expressed in terms of the mean. Obviously, जब joint का मतलब क्या है कि I got more than one column of the normal distribution, right? Joint का तो ये मतलब है ना. So when I talk about the mean, तो mean means the mean of all the columns together. So a mean vector of all the columns. So if I have 10 columns, then the mean vector will contain 10 entries, where one entry contains the mean of one column. सही है, समझ में आ रही बात की? तो column का mean तो is the easiest thing in the world. Either you can calculate directly or you can estimate the expected value, which is also a an indication of the mean. ठीक है? So the joint multivariate normal is expressed basically in terms of two parameters. One is the mean of the joint, where is the mean vector. ठीक है? The other is the covariance matrix. Covariance matrix क्या होता है? It's easy to understand. Like you know about Pearson correlation. Pearson correlation तो आप लोगों ने वैसे भी अपने notebooks वगैरह में इस्तेमाल की होगी to find out the correlation between two variables, right? So Pearson correlation is simply the covariance divided by the normalization factor. So basically covariance is correlation. Standardization, normalization, तो एक normalization always happens in the denominator. Standardization happens for all the variables collectively. Normalization का मतलब ये होता है कि we divide the quantity by something to normalize. That's what it means. Standardize means कि जैसे Z standardization कर दें, value minus mean divided by standard deviation. ठीक है? So in this case, the covariance matrix, if I have 3 variables, so it's going to be a 3 by 3 matrix. It's going to be symmetric. ठीक है? और क्या कहते हैं? It's going to be symmetric. ऊपर का is going to be similar as the lower one, क्योंकि correlation between x1 x2 is equal to correlation between x2 and x1. It's a symmetric relationship. It's not anti-symmetric. ठीक है? So the formula is this one. This is in fact a normalization constant, so you don't need to be worrying about this one. ठीक है? 2 pi d over 2, where d is the number of columns. Okay. E to the power minus x minus u transpose where x is the value of any one row of the joint. अगर मेरे पास 10 कॉलम है तो एक रो कितने एंट्रीज कंटेन करेगी x की? If I got 10 columns, so if I say x is one row, so how many, if it is a vector, how many entries it will contain? 10 entries. And if I'm saying mu is also a vector of the mean of 10 columns. So it's easy to say x minus mu. I can understand that. So element wise subtraction, and transpose is there just to get a product. Why do I transpose? So that I can get a single value at the end. Vector A multiplied by transpose of vector B. So I will get a single value at the end. It's easy to multiply when I do transposes. But transpose is not the problem here. The problem is to understand what is happening. Okay. So what is this? ये क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? Logically बताएं, what is happening x minus mu? Sorry? Normalize is this one. Normalize you always do that. Normalize is लवाजमाती चीज है कि जैसे आपने लेट्स से कि आपने वो हलीम बना ली, अब आप ऊपर वो उसके वो जला हुआ प्याज और वो सब चीजें डाल रहे हैं, या खाने में नमक कम है तो नमक आप डाल रहे हैं खाने में. ये वो नॉर्मलाइजेशन वो लवाजमाती चीज है, ये तो हमने करनी होती है आखिर में. The main part of the formula is this one, the joint. This is just a normalization. So yeah, just we do it to for some purpose which I can't even dig into that detail right now. The main thing for us in this course is to understand कि how is the joint defined. ये चीज हमारे लिए ज्यादा जरूरी है. तो x minus mu transpose, तो x minus mu में क्या हो रहा है? What does it represent? Value का mean से? Yes, how much each value is far away from the mean, which is a measure of dispersion. Dispersion अच्छी चीज है, बुरी चीज है? बुरी चीज है. Why is dispersion a bad thing? Like that's the reason for the drawing the Gaussian curve is to ensure के 99% data is lying within 3 standard deviations of the mean. यही reason होता है ना? तो if something is deviating from the mean, why is that bad for machine learning? ये कहाँ लिखा हुआ है? Yes, if it is very far away from the mean, then obviously it's a. But if it is not very far away, I just say it is somewhat far away. Then what? It is not concentrated around the mean. चलें, मैं आपको और आसान कर देता हूँ. What is the advantage or disadvantage of this? The value is not concentrated around the mean. तो machine learning पे इसका क्या फर्क पड़ेगा?
सर कर्टोसिस चेंज हो जाएगा ना, वो फैटर टेल्स हो जाएंगी उसकी.
क्या हो जाएंगी?
सर कर्टोसिस जो होता है वो चेंज हो जाएगा, उसकी टेल्स जो है वो फैट हो जाएंगी, तो जो है मतलब बैठा हुआ कर्व होएगा, इट वोंट बी कंसंट्रेटेड अराउंड द मीन.
नहीं मैं कर्व का सवाल नहीं पूछ रहा, मैं ये पूछ रहा हूँ कि अगर डेटा मीन के इर्द गिर्द इफ इट इज नॉट कंसंट्रेटेड देन व्हाट इज द डिसएडवांटेज?
सर डिपेंड करता है क्या आउटलायर है या नहीं है.
देखें, the more the data is closer to the mean, the easier it is to learn the hypothesis, because you can approximate the data by the mean behavior. If the algorithm has to learn 50 different things, and if the algorithm has to learn just one thing, so what is easier? Learning just one value. Agar in this class everyone gets an average of 15 marks out of 20 in the hourly, so मैं पूरी दुनिया को बता सकता हूँ यार इस क्लास की एवरेज 15 है. But if someone is getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, dispersion is too high. I can't make a predictive model, right? So that's why it is important to measure your deviation from the mean. It's an innovative question, yeah. Don't worry about the multivariate normal. Each one of you can write this equation in your own way and confuse others. कि यार ये क्या लिख दिया इसने यार? It's just a childish thing which is written here. क्या घबरा गए? मैं तो आपसे कह रहा हूँ कि आप don't focus here. Don't focus here. I'm just asking you what does it mean to subtract a value from its average behavior? Why do we do that? To find out the dispersion. सही है. तो in this case what we're doing is we are finding out the dispersion for the whole multivariate normal density together. Okay, how much each point is deviating from the joint PDF. वो कितना दूर है अपने mean behavior से. That's what we are estimating. ठीक है. So this gives an idea of the dispersion of the values. Or some multiplied by covariance, inverse covariance matrix. ये दो अलग चीजें हैं. ठीक है. अगर एक इंसान जो अपने पैरों पे चल रहा है, दूसरा इंसान अपने उल्टा होके टॉपसी टर्वी चल रहा है, ठीक है, तो वो दोनों बराबर तो नहीं है ना. तो इनवर्स कोवेरियंस मैट्रिक्स मींस समथिंग एल्स. ठीक है. तो विल सी दैट इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. अभी आप फिलहाल ये याद रखें कि दिस क्वांटिटी x माइनस म्यू फॉर्म्स द मेन मवाद कह लें आप इसको, या मेन क्रक्स कह लें आप उसको, ऑफ द जॉइंट पीडीएफ. सही है. तो basically I'm defining the joint PDF based on the deviation of the data from the mean behavior of each normal distribution, because it's a collection of densities. So there are multiple normal densities. So in this case I have a table. अगर 3 columns की हम बात करें तो I have 3 columns. Each one has a normal density. सही है. The scenario is like this. Each one is a normal density, and I'm talking collectively for all 3 together. सही है. समझ में आ गई बात की? Because why should I deal with them separately when they are part of the same training data? So I want to define the joint. और जो ज्यादा statistical machine learning algorithms है, तो they will work on this joint Gaussian mixture. It will help you to understand the data much better and maybe even control it in a better way. ये जितने भी algorithms आपके पास random forest और XGBoost इस तरह के, these things have taken you in fact away from the data. You do not understand. You just throw in everything, try out different algorithms, and sometimes that will work, sometimes that will not work. Random forest is not the standard algorithm for every problem in the industry. तो आपको guarantee कर सकता हूँ. You need to have statistical knowledge. That's why we are taking this course. That's why I'm focusing on these things, because we are going towards those algorithms which are a second breed of algorithms in machine learning, जो कि अभी तक आपने नहीं पढ़े हैं. ठीक है. So in any case, mu is the mean vector, and this is the sigma calens. So d into d covariance, where d is what? Obviously, तो अब ये if I have this training data of 3 columns, how will the covariance matrix look like? 3 by 3, right? So here I will have column 1, column 2, column 3. ध्यान रखिएगा. Here again I will have the same column 1, column 2, column 3. What is going to be the diagonal of this? Exactly right. It's going to be the variance. The variance of column C1 will be here. The variance of column C2 will be here. The variance of column C will be here. अब आप कहेंगे यार, why variance in a covariance matrix? तो इसका असल नाम जो है ना, इसका असल नाम क्या है? Covariance matrix का असल नाम क्या है? The variance covariance matrix. It's called the variance covariance matrix. The short form में we call it the covariance matrix, या COV कह देते हैं. आपके Python में COV का फंक्शन होगा. डॉट COV करेंगे तो वो आ जाएगा. वो तो प्लेग्राउंड बनाएंगे ना अभी आप लोग इसका. ठीक है. तो ये ठीक है. तो इसके डायगोनल पे what's there? The variance. What about this value? What will come here? Between C1 and C2. Similarly, it's going to be replicated here. So this whole triangle is equal to this triangle. So that's called the covariance pattern, and this gives you an idea of the dispersion. Variance is also a measure of dispersion, right? And if the covariance is more, it's positive side. That means that C1 and C2 are moving together. That's what you say. They're positively correlated. So they are moving together in the positive direction. And if it is close to -1, they're moving together in the negative direction. So agar correlation mein, if the graph is coming like this, so that's a negative correlation. So they're moving together in the negative direction, and in this case they are moving together in the positive direction. That's the word you use. ठीक है. So normalization constant क्यों डालते हैं? Like this complicated term, so that we ensure that the PDF integrates to 1. because the integration should, the area under the curve should sum up to 1. क्या ख्याल है? If I integrate this function from minus infinity to plus infinity, what should be the answer? 1, because the sum of all probabilities equals 1, and this is the probability density function. So if I integrate all the probabilities, they should sum up to 1. Why do I do integration? Why can't I add the probabilities? Huh? तो क्या हुआ? Yes, there are thousands to millions of possible values. How can I? कैसे तो फिर मैं रेंज डिफाइन करता हूँ A to B. तो अभी तक ऑलरेडी दिया आप लोगों ने यार, बच्चों वाला सवाल था ये. ठीक है, सही है, ये समझ में आ गई? कैन चले, is anybody intelligent enough? I am not, to understand के why am I multiplying this by this? अच्छा चले, मैंने आपको ये नहीं बताया कि इनवर्स कोवेरियंस मैट्रिक्स क्या होता है, पहले वो डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. दिस इज नॉट द कोवेरियंस मैट्रिक्स. ठीक है, ये क्या हो गया? अच्छा, ये अभी से आ गया. हाँ, तो ये कुछ उस बुक में जो हम बुक कभी कभी थोड़ी फॉलो कर रहे हैं. सो दीज आर द शेप्स ऑफ डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ द लेवल सेट्स फॉर 2D Gaussians. A full covariance matrix has elliptical contours. This is the shape that you can define in इन्होंने इसको 2 dimension में किया. We have 2 columns. The data has been fictitiously generated, but there are different covariance matrices depending on the data. So covariance matrix can have a diagonal covariance matrix is an axis aligned ellipse. This one. ठीक है. A spherical covariance matrix has circular shape and surface plot for the spherical Gaussian in C. और ये वाली जो है ना, ये तो मैं आपको ऑलरेडी दिखा चुका था before the hourly. सही है. So this is called the Gaussian mixture of 2 variables. So इससे पता चल रहा है कि जो आपकी जो the covariance matrix can take different shapes depending उसकी value क्या है. ठीक है. So it can be elliptical, it can be this axis aligned, or it can have a spherical shape, etc., etc. तो that's not our concern, just for your understanding. ठीक है. जो प्लेग्राउंड वाली कहानी होगी उसमें 2D पे करना पड़ेगा. मैंने दिया तो नहीं ना अभी इसका सवाल? गॉसियन मिल जाएगा आपको, कोड मिल जाएगा, आपने सिर्फ रेप्लिकेट करना है. आसान काम है. सही है.
सर ये बेसिकली ये सर्कल्स क्या वैल्यू शो कर रहे हैं?
मुझे मालूम नहीं है, आप बताएं क्या शो कर रहे हैं. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड.
सब्ट्रैक्ट कर रहे हैं एक कॉलम की वैल्यू.
Yeah, so they are representing the they're representing the covariance matrix. So somehow they have plotted it by the so these are actually the level sets, or level sets ka basically what we can assume here is that they are defining us kya kaha tha abhi maine? Yeah, so depending on the values of the covariance matrix, including the diagonal values or the off diagonal values, those values can take on different shapes with respect to the given density function. That's all we need to remember right now. So depending on the values, you can have different shapes of that function, but the contour, sorry, but the PDF is definitely going to be something like this, which you can visualize in 2D. Okay. So typically, I think you are going for the elliptical case. Okay, the covariance matrix is the dispersion from the mean. It's also called a dispersion matrix. Okay, diagonal is the variance, and off diagonal represents the covariance with other variables. ये मैंने आपको समझा दिया. ठीक है. Sorry, dispersion from the mean. Inverse covariance matrix is actually the closeness from the mean. When I'm saying x minus mu means basically how much you are deviating from the mean. But that is one term जो कि शुरू में आ रही थी. The other term that you saw in this, the other term, you are finding out the covariance with respect to x minus mu. Inverse covariance with respect to x minus mu. इसका मतलब क्या है? You are trying to find out how close the points are to their mean. ठीक है. If it was sigma x minus mu, I'm trying to find out how far away they are deviating from the mean, but here I am trying to get an idea for the closeness of the variables from their mean. ठीक है? So basically how the diagonal values will tell you how tightly clustered the variables are around the mean. It's just उसका concept, just rotate the concept 180 degrees. ठीक है? In the case of covariance, I'm talking more about how far away I am from the mean. And in the case of inverse covariance matrix, I am determining how close I am to the mean. ठीक है, मैं mean से कितना करीब हूँ. So इस case में जो diagonal values हैं, they will tell you how tightly clustered the variables are around the mean. It's a measure of closeness from the mean. ठीक है, just keep that in mind. Off diagonal values जो हैं, obviously covariance में हम क्या देख रहे थे? You are looking at the covariance, right? कि how much you are correlated with other variables, irrespective of anything. But I'm saying कि C1 का C2 के साथ, C1 का C3 के साथ, C1 का C4 के साथ, find out the correlation of every column with every other column and put that in the covariance matrix. यही है ना? यही कर रहे थे ना? In the case of inverse covariance matrix, that is not what I'm doing. First of all, I'm talking more about closeness or proximity. इसको हम, we also call it the precision matrix. ठीक है? We're talking about closeness or proximity, and the off diagonal values will represent the extent to which you do not co-vary. उल्टा हो गया ना? How much you vary with respect to others in the case of covariance matrix. How much you do not vary with respect to others is in the off diagonal matrix of the ICM. ठीक है? So it's just a difference of the idea. Covariance में diagonal represents the variance, which is a measure of dispersion, and the off diagonal values represent the covariance between all the variables together. In this case, ICM में the diagonal represents how tightly clustered the variables are around the mean. अभी हम examples देंगे, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. So it's a measure of closeness. And the off diagonal matrix represent के how much you do not co-vary. So there co-vary, here you do not co-vary. ठीक है? This is also very important के a correlation which is conditional on other variables. For example, if I say covariance of x1, column x1 with respect to x2, ध्यान रखिएगा, ये बहुत important चीज है. Covariance matrix में तो guns blazing, find out the covariance of every column with every other column, right? But what if I tell you कि column C1 or column x1 is not correlated, has nothing to do with x2, has nothing to do with x2. Do I need to estimate the value? मुझे करने की जरूरत भी नहीं है ना, ठीक है? So in this case, if I assume the conditional formalism, then this is going to be 0. So the inverse covariance matrix is going to tell you definitely which columns don't have any relationship with each other. उसमें you will get the value 0. In the case of covariance matrix, it is possible that you do not get any value 0. You might get a value very close to 0. ठीक है? But in the case of inverse covariance matrix, it's going to be clearly defined कि column C1 and column C9 are useless. Don't correlate them. There is absolutely no correlation. किसी तरह से भी आपस में compare नहीं करते. Their Gaussians are not merging. Their Gaussians are not overlapping. Their Gaussians are completely separate from each other. They have a completely different shape. So there's no need to find out the correlation or even think about that from a logical perspective. अगर आप कहते हैं यार business perspective से तो C1 and C9 are really great, I think they are correlated. But if the inverse covariance matrix tells you that it is 0, then you should not definitely consider your hypothesis. आपका जो sample है, maybe उसमें वो चीज agree ना हो रही हो. सही है? So covariance matrix might not have 0 values, and it is guns blazing. हर एक को हर एक के साथ. जैसे कि in this data wrangling stage में you plotted this covariance matrix, this correlation matrix, heat map जो आता है, हर एक का हर एक के साथ. your selected variables, but inverse covariance matrix is going to tell you definitely the scenario very clearly. Okay, so the diagonal is going to tell you about the closeness. Okay, how much the column C1 is clustered closely to the mean. So instead of talking about dispersion, why don't I consider the concept of closeness? Isn't that better? क्या ख्याल है? By closeness, proximity का मुझे एक level बता दो कि what's your proximity level? It's going to be easier to understand rather than कि I'm thinking about dispersion. So that is the reason probably that is why we have used the concept of inverse covariance matrix in the formula for the joint, because it gives you more information than the covariance matrix. It gives you more information कि जहाँ पे the correlation 0 है, it's going to tell you it's 0. सही है? ठीक है? Overall clear है ये चीज? So let's go ahead. Now let's see some examples. क्या यार ये? Oh. Right. So this is not very difficult to understand. This is what is sigma squared? The variance. And this is the formula for covariance. You just repeat kiya hua isko. This is the formula for correlation and normalized. I just repeated this. We already did this, right? In this case, you can see the variance here is 5.8 or almost 6. It's understandable because it's a randomly distributed sort of data, and the covariance kitni hai? Just two variables, right? So covariance matrix, you can see here it's where is the covariance? So 5.7 and 6.4. So variance of column 1, variance of column 2, right? Variance for x1, x and y hai na, to x ki variance kitni 5.7 and the variance for y is 6.4 or 6.5, whatever. That's quite high, right? And the covariance, it's almost 0. It's understandable. Look at the data. If you calculate the Pearson correlation, it's going to give you an almost similar value, close to 0. So that's a covariance matrix. What about this one? The orange one. High covariance. Understandable, right? I can approximate that through a straight line. But the variance is also high. That's disturbing. So dimensionality reduction may, please remember that the concept of variance is extremely important. If I, in the sense, and try to understand this, I have 25 columns, all Gaussian. Okay? And I can do the joint also, but I want to cut down the number of columns. अब आप concept पहले समझ लें, आगे algorithm समझना आसान इंशाल्लाह हो जाएगा. I want to cut down the number of columns to, let's say, 10, 25 to 10. Why 10? I don't know. Today I like the number 10. Okay? I just want to cut them down. So if I break this table up into 2 parts, और मुझे कहा जाए टेबल को आधा करना है, तो बट मेरे ज़हन में पहली बात क्या आएगी? If I'm asked के IBA has to cut cost, and we want to make 2 tables out of गुर्बत आ गई है, ठीक है? तो एक टेबल को हम 2 हिस्से करके एक दूसरे फैकल्टी मेंबर को देंगे, ठीक है? So what's going to be the first thing that crosses your mind? If you allow the table to be broken up, पहली चीज क्या आपके ज़हन में आएगी? इक्वल तो वो कारपेंटर काटेगा. आपके लिए सबसे पहली चीज ज़हन में क्या आएगी? Will it serve the same purpose as it is doing now? Will I be able to use it as it is? I can cut it down, but will I be able to keep my laptop like this, my keys like this, the cup of tea like this, the bottle like this, or I won't be able to do it? Do you understand? So if it does not, agar uska function hi, if I'm not able to use it, then what's the use of cutting it? So if I'm cutting down the data, then one thing has to be ensured. You can cut down. Okay? It is allowed to cut down. You got lots of algorithms to cut down. But the pattern of the variance of the data, how the data is varying with respect to the different columns, how the columns are varying with respect to each other. That pattern should definitely be caught, and that should be available in your new data. You understand? Because then machine learning का फायदा क्या? If I lose the pattern, what do you mean by the pattern in the data? इसका क्या मतलब है कि the data has a pattern? We passed machine learning 1 by saying this thing. कि data has a pattern, data has a pattern. Pattern of what? कौन सा pattern? Yes, the pattern of variance. How the data is varying with respect to the values in one column and with respect to the values of the other column. That is why we are talking x minus mu, and that is why we are talking the inverse covariance matrix. Okay, we want to capture the variance of the data collectively, and we want to ensure that I capture this variance when I cut down the number of columns. Otherwise, I lose the pattern. वरना तो कुछ और ही मैं सीख लूंगा. सही है? समझ में आ गई बात की? So the pattern that we are talking about is the pattern of variance of the data. In the case, I talked about the multivariate Gaussian because that's the normal use case we're doing. When you start machine learning, then every column is numerical in nature. बस वो जो आपके जो वो dummy one hot encoding के जो वो variables होते हैं, they do not follow the normal distribution. They follow the Bernoulli probably or the binomial distribution, जो भी है. But the other columns do. सही है? समझ में आ गई बात की? Is this thing clear? So we have to capture the variance pattern before we can cut down the number of columns. If we do not capture the variance pattern, then it's lost. For example, in this case, the variance is, मैंने इसलिए ये बात की है, we'll look at the variance here. The variance is too high. I mean, it's good to have a high correlation. It's very much understandable. और ये 40 इसलिए क्योंकि this is not normalized. Pearson करता है इसको -1 to 1 में normalize कर देता है. It's easy for us to understand, right? So it is good to have 40. बहुत अच्छी बात है, but the variance is too high. It's बहुत ज़्यादा है. That means कि data अपने mean से बहुत फैला हुआ है. Although it is correlated with y, ditto for y. So do you think having a large variance is a good thing? It's not a good thing, right? So if I have large number of columns and we have this level of patterns of variance जो कि होते हैं आमतौर पे, आप कभी किसी के customer data जिसमें age record हो, calculate the variance, वो तो आप लोग का तो मेरे ख्याल में की नहीं होगी. जब आप wrangling अभी करेंगे ना project में, अच्छा हाँ आपको project की list भी मैंने बनाना शुरू कर दी है, so you can start the project side by side. सही है? The innovative project सोच रहा हूँ ताकि आपके लिए आसानी हो. So if the variance is increasing, it's something जो कि मेरे लिए disturbing है. So I have the right to cut down the columns, but I want to maintain my variance pattern. ठीक है? जी. जी. अब देखें, regression के अंदर भी the error is going to be more, because I have to regress the line over a large area due to the spread out nature of the points. ठीक है? And here I have the potential to have some outliers. दूसरा ये है कि जितने ज़्यादा फैले होंगे points in this direction and in this direction due to the large variance, the error is going to be more. Because if I have to approximate the line, so I want the points to be as close to the line as possible. But if the variance is more, then they're going to be spread out like this and also like this. Although they seem concentrated, but there are, due to the variance, they are still far away, a bit far away. So it is going to generate larger error as compared to the data which has lesser variance. You can try it out. You know, the reason I'm giving these playground sort of problems is that you can try out different things. Okay, you can see that when the variance of the columns is less, then the error in machine learning is going to be less, unless you do something really strange. Okay. So capturing the variance is extremely important, and having more variance is not good. Okay. What is happening here? Ab jaldi kare. What is this data? So what is this? The variance is again high. Eh? So the variance of one column is very high. Yeah, the variance. This is the covariance. The variance is the diagonal, right? So the variance of x is very high, which is understandable. ये इतना फैल रहा है, right? And it is spread out over the x-axis, right? Not over the y-axis. But it's just consuming. So therefore, the variance of y is pretty good. It is a 3.98. What about the covariance? Negative. So it seems to be sort of thoda sa negative correlation hai, but it's almost close to zero. There's nothing. It's possible to have data like this, and the other way around. So in this case, I have lesser variance here, more variance here, and again. So the covariance is zero when the positive correlation contributions are equal to the negative correlation contribution, resulting in unpredictable behavior. So covariance can be zero if some of the points are highly positively correlated, some of the points are highly negatively correlated. So that adds up to zero. But in this case, the covariance is zero because of the abnormal behavior of one of the variables. Here x is behaving abnormally, and here I think if y is behaving abnormally, or you can say the other way around. जिस तरह से आप उसको define करना चाहिए. This is not a regular data. सही है? I cannot say if a column has lesser variance, then there's a higher probability of deleting that column. But you definitely you should use it, in fact, if it has a lesser variance. ठीक है? So the point is कि अब हमारा काम ये हो गया कि हम लोग directly we use the algorithms. That is the problem, right? So you must have the basic knowledge of things. ठीक है? तो ये तो खैर concept clear हो गया. So these are two columns, x and y. This is one other interpretation of correlation, which is the angle between the two vectors. Remember, a vector has direction and magnitude both. ये तो पता है ना? So if I'm talking about one column, so one column is one vector of, let's say, 1000 values. So it has a direction as well as a magnitude, which is called the norm of the vector. Okay? So if the two vectors are in this direction, which has an angle between them less than 90 degrees, then they are positively correlated. If the angle is exactly 90 degrees, then they have a zero correlation. And if the angle is more than 90 degrees, then they have a negative correlation. So this is just one other way of looking at it. जी ये वही चीज है तो यानी the dot product between the two vectors is equal to the norm of x and y multiplied by the angle between the vectors. This is the basic equation, and I can write it like this, and this is very similar to this equation. X dot y, which is the measure of the standard deviation, and here, and normalize with respect to the norm. And here I'm normalizing with respect to the variance of both x and y. So it's just another way of looking at this. Okay? Yeah, the covariance indicates the amount of overlap between the two vectors, and the variances indicate the scale of each vector. के वो vector कितना लंबा है, that is the variance, and what is the angle between them, that is represented by the correlation. Okay? This is just one other interpretation to help you understand. This is the cosine similarity. Yeah, text analytics में this is used quite extensively to find out how much two documents are similar to each other. So the lesser the angle, the more similar they are. So this is found based on the words in the document. So each document is approximated by a word vector, and you find out this is one of the first basic algorithm or the formula for text analytics. ये आपको probably पहली class में पढ़ा देंगे. ठीक है? We have to hurry up, there's too much to cover. So ICM is often called the precision matrix and is proportional to the partial correlation matrix. Okay, let's see what that means. It gives the partial independence relationship. If two features are independent conditionally on the others, the corresponding coefficient in the precision matrix will be zero. ये मैंने आपको बता दिया है कि in the case of inverse covariance matrix, talk about conditional behavior. We are talking about conditional behavior, correlation of this with respect to that, correlation of this with respect to that. So we are thinking in terms of conditional probabilities now. और conditional correlation covariance. सही है. So it becomes easy to say कि भाई वो जब zero होगा तो we can simply remove that relationship from our analysis. ठीक है. The estimation of the covariance matrix is better conditioned by learning. Estimation of covariance matrix is better conditioned by learning independence relations from the data. That is what the inverse covariance matrix does. It learns those pairs of columns which are independent of each other. ठीक है. तो आपको और फिर उसका जो diagonal entry, what does that represent? ICM's diagonal entry, what does that represent? नहीं. ICM की diagonal, covariance की diagonal, the variance. ICM की diagonal,
how tightly
the
they are
closeness.
related to mean.
How tightly the points are clustered around the mean. So you get two information. Okay, in every column, how much close the points are to the mean by looking at the diagonal value of that particular attribute, and you also get the independence relations. Okay, where can I say that it's zero? Okay. This works. They are saying it works in smaller dimensions, but I don't think so. Okay, you can generalize such a thing. Okay, if the data is extra, yeah, na, okay, exactly right. Normally, what do you expect in the training data? Training data may, will you expect a high correlation or a low correlation or mixed? Why mixed? If I don't know, then how am I saying mixed? I can expect something hybrid. Mixed is the answer. Because extreme situations of correlations are hardly found. ठीक है कि हम कहें कि जी सारे variables आपस में they are very highly correlated, or all the variables are very highly negatively correlated, and every variable is correlated with every other variable. That is never going to happen. These three situations are never going to happen. Almost never going to happen. Okay. So therefore, I have something which is something in between. Okay. So in that situation, ICM estimation is good, which is the normal case in which I get the training data. Okay. Lekin, if your data is highly correlated, all the variables are correlated with each other almost, or if your data is highly negatively correlated, then ICM estimation is probably not going to work well, because uska kaam kya hai? It's finding out conditional independence. Independence hai hi nahi usme, to how it is going to work? It won't have any zero values. So just go with the covariance matrix in that case. Sahi hai? So now let's see some examples. ये अब आपको समझ में आएगी. We have here, and this example is taken from some Harvard tutorial. It's been used at multiple places in the internet. Okay? I have 5 beads or balls and connected through 6 strings. So let's say these are 5 variables: y1, y2, y3, y4, y5, and y1 is linked to y2. Just आपको समझाने के लिए. And y2 with y3, y3 with y4, y4 with y5. ठीक है? So there is no correlation between y1 and y3 and so on. ठीक है? पहले covariance matrix को देखें. But how can you explain this? Don't forget about this for the time being. Explain to me the covariance matrix. First look at the diagonal. Interpret, जल्दी interpret करें. The whole diagonal represents what? Variance. How is the variance? You don't have to add these up here. 0.83 is the variance of which variable? Y1. Okay. So what can you say about this diagonal low variance? It's pretty good. What about the correlation? Sorry, covariance. क्या लो? लो का क्या मतलब है? It looks normalized between -1 and 1. So let's assume it's normalized.
So,
नहीं नहीं, it's not. This is 1.33 here. ठीक है.
सर अगर हम रेंज ऑफ वैल्यूज को देखें तो उस हिसाब से 0.8 जो है हाई वैल्यू नहीं.
0.8 high value. If you look at the diagonal, then there is not much difference between the variance values. They are close to each other. So the variance is almost the same and it's low. Covariance के case में, so I have the highest covariance between y2 and y1 and y2. No, sorry. This is not the covariance. I'm sorry about that. So where is the highest covariance? 1. No, 1.5 is also the diagonal. 1. So 1 is occurring between y2 and y3. That seems to be the highest covariance. ठीक है? But मैं आपको बताना ये चाह रहा हूँ कि by looking at the covariance matrix, you assume कि every variable is correlated with every other variable. है कि नहीं है? Although by looking at that graph above, we know that this is not the case. Y1 has no relationship with Y3. There is no connection between Y1 and Y3. It is possible to, for example, you measure sales. Let's assume that you have a data which contains sales of yogurt of your company and sales of, let's say, oil from another company. Somehow you needed to merge them. They are two different companies. So these two columns, although they are sales, correlation might be negligible. Zero correlation. So in this case, when you find out the covariance matrix, so you're going to assume that there is some correlation. But when you find out the inverse covariance matrix, आपको exactly पता चल जाएगा कि कहानी कहाँ बैठ रही है. अब आप in this case now look. ये ठीक है? Is this in clear interpretation? You should be able to interpret it now. The inverse covariance matrix, what is the diagonal? नहीं, वो तो पढ़ लिया है ना, अब इंटरप्रेट करें ना. What are the values? All the values are 2. What does that mean? How? What does that mean? Question नहीं है ये. इसका मतलब क्या है? Yes, all of them are at the same distance from the mean, and they are not that much far away. So ये तो with respect to their, all of them are equally close to the mean. Let's use the word close or proximity. So the proximity with the mean is almost equal. So that makes it all homogeneous. इसमें तो हम तफरका नहीं कर सकते. What else? So this is the row for y1, right? Y1 correlation with y2. Not correlation, in fact. Yes. Inverse covariance -1 का मतलब ये है कि covariance 1. So -1 means, क्योंकि इसमें inverse covariance में off diagonal values represent how much you are not correlated with your other variable. So that not correlation is -1 means के there is a correlation. सही है? So which is true because y1 has a correlation with y2 only, right? So -1 means के जी
एक सवाल है सर, अगर पॉजिटिव अपना पॉजिटिव साइन होगा तो कोरिलेशन एग्जिस्ट करती है, नेगेटिव होगा तो कोरिलेशन
हाँ फिर वो इस केस में तो आई थिंक इट्स अ पॉजिटिव कोरिलेशन. सही है, क्योंकि if you look at the definition, extent to which they do not co-vary with the other variables. So do not co-vary negative. Yeah, do not co-vary. So this means that there is a positive. मेरे ज़हन में तो ये बात आ रही है. So we can make a statement with respect to the magnitude of that number. Here, जब आपको इस तरह का सवाल आवडली में आए तो make a general assumption. We don't have the data here, right? So you are just required to assume and interpret. So in this case, my first interpretation is that y1 is correlated with y2 and vice versa. y2 is correlated with y3 and vice versa. So that -1 का पूरा जो line आ रही है, that means के y2 with y3, y3 with y4, y4 with y5, which is what is being shown to us in the figure, right? But all the other entries are 0. That's what I was telling you. If when there is no correlation, then I do not force it to tell something, which is happening in the case of covariance. The covariance matrix is not the right thing for me. Therefore, when I define the joint, this is the reason. Okay, when I define the joint, I define it based on the inverse covariance matrix, because it gives me a better idea of the independence between the columns than the covariance matrix. So, so this concept of inverse covariance matrix is used in multiple other applications as well. सही है, ठीक है? Just keep this in mind. इसके अलावा -1 का क्या मतलब है, 2 क्यों है? It's just based on the data. हाँ, I think -1 means के there is a correlation. It's a positive correlation. If it was +1, I would take that to be a negative correlation, because उसका मतलब दूसरा है ना जी.
Sir, even in this case, हम कोई feature remove नहीं कर सकते because every column has a relationship with another column.
हाँ, ये आपने बात की है. वो है, देखें, ये तो एक टॉय एग्जांपल है ना. I typically, when I have a machine learning problem, then I couple that up with my business knowledge. So if I can make a compromise on, I taught you in data wrangling के सबसे पहला step क्या होता है कि delete the unnecessary columns. So there could be multiple columns which could be deleted and which could be compromised later on. So I could compromise, let's say y3, तो ठीक है. Now another question, ये जरा थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है लेकिन it's still interesting. So let's assume कि I have something like this. H1 means the hypothesis 1. All the variables are correlated with each other. ठीक है? So y1 with y2 with y1 and y2. You got to get comfortable with this. ये basically it's another way to represent the Bayesian networks. ठीक है? So इसको हम बहुत जल्दी करने वाले इंशाल्लाह. Assuming the variable H1 have a joint Gaussian distribution, right? Which of the following could be the covariance matrix?
सर A है. A है सर A.
पहले तो ये एक्सक्लूजन, अच्छा चले ठीक है, आपका जवाब नोट कर लिया गया है. Which of these 4 values will you consider first? Covariance matrix की बात हो रही है. A and
Diagonal.
why? Because we can't have 0. Like 0 represents basically the inverse covariance matrix. We're talking about the covariance matrix. So we have either option A or option B. Now, what do you see in the hypothesis? Y1 correlated with Y2 and Y3 correlated with Y2, but there is no correlation between covariance, sorry, between Y1 and Y3. So let's see where that is. Between Y1 and Y3, there is no correlation, or minimum possible correlation. In the case of covariance matrix, is going to demonstrate a minimum correlation. So where do we end up? So here is Y1 and Y3 1, but the same thing is here as well.
सर diagonal में variance नहीं है ना B में.
This is variance for Y1. This is variance for Y2, and this is variance for Y3. So am I required to have the same variance for Y1 and Y3? Yes, because of the fact that okay, so what we have said up to now is that it has to be A because of the first fact that I have minimum covariance between Y1 and Y3, which is 1 here. And I assume that if Y2 is having an influence on Y1, so both of them should increase positively in the same direction. They can't be negative. They can't be moving in opposite directions. So the relationship has to be positive. So that is why I have A. In the case of inverse covariance matrix, I have either option C or D, because in both I have 0 here, but the values are negative for the same reason that we discussed in the last slide. Okay, negative values in the inverse covariance matrix do represent a positive correlation. So which is what we are assuming for H1. So in this case, the answer will be D. Now for this hypothesis, what will be the answer? Which of the matrices could be the covariance matrix? So Y1 and Y3 are having an influence on Y2. So in this case, what we have discussed right now is in this case of hypothesis 2, the Y2 is getting input from is correlated with 2 variables at the same time. So possibly its variance is going to be different from Y1 and Y3. This is my understanding of the situation. So in this case, I will be forced to select B for the case of covariance matrix and D for the case of inverse covariance matrix. So it depends on your own justification of this. अभी ये खत्म कर लें पहले. So let's assume that I have this covariance matrix and this inverse covariance matrix. सही है, तो I have 2 variables, y1, y2, y3. So these are 3 and this is the inverse. So we just focus on the variables y1 and y2. So इससे क्या पता चल रहा है आपको? What is this telling you? शाबाश, इसको इंटरप्रेट करें. This is the covariance matrix. So the variance of both y1 and y2 is the same. One नहीं है, one उससे क्या? We don't need to tell it is one. We just say it is same when we are interpreting. So variance of both the variables is the same, and covariance is also the same. What about the inverse covariance matrix? Y1 values in Y1 are more close to their mean than the values in Y2, and they are positively correlated because it is -1. सही है. So that's all you can say about these things. जी अब आप पूछें. पीछे हो रहा है.
तो यहाँ पे अगर आपने B select करा है तो फिर D में भी जो negative off diagonal negative values है.
हाँ तो देखें, this is a very generic type of question and I think it is asking you to make lots of assumptions before giving the answer. So the concrete thing जो इसमें logical जो मुझे बात समझ में आ रही है वो ये है कि the variance of y2 has to be different from y1 and y3 because both of them are influencing the same variable. So how can I assume that their variance is going to be exactly the same? I told you that machine learning is all about the game of variance. How is the variance of one column being affected with respect to the variance of the other column? यही कहा था ना. तो therefore उसके हिसाब से अगर आप देखें तो it's highly unlikely that the variance for y2 is going to be exactly same as the variance of y1 and y3, क्योंकि उन दोनों की variance का impact इसकी variance में आएगा. That's what I'm trying to say. The variance of both y1 and y3 is going to contribute to the variance of y2. So it has to be different from the variance of y1 and y2. And that is the only way we can distinguish between A, B and C, D in this case. So therefore I said B and D. So अब वो negative क्यों है, वो क्या है, वो उसके बारे में हम अपना भी बस ये कर लेते हैं, फिर ब्रेक ले लेते हैं. So 6 observations हैं आपकी. This is the mean vector 120 transposed and this is the covariance matrix. So 30 is the variance for column 1 and 2 is the variance. Yeah, so 2 is the variance for column 2, which is understandable agar aap, if you look at the values. Okay, and 7 is their covariance. So what? So this is just an example for your own understanding. So here is 30 because the value, why it is 30 here? Yeah? How can I have a high variance? So I have values between 95 and 110. In this case, I have values between 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 18 and 22. ठीक है, so ये उस केस में है. अच्छा, now this is a covariance matrix. Remember this notation, and this is the corresponding inverse covariance matrix. क्या interpretation करेंगे? So it's x1, x2, x3. Suppose x का mean vector उन्होंने दिया हुआ है आपको, and covariance define y equals to with y1 equals to x1 minus x2 and y2 equals to x1 plus 2x3. जी, सबसे पहले तो इसको इंटरप्रेट करें. What is the interpretation of the covariance matrix? Y की बात ही नहीं हो रही. x1, x2, x3. What is the interpretation of the covariance matrix? शाबाश. Yeah, x1, x2 have the same variance, and
Sir, x1,
X3
x2
has a high variance.
normal है.
and what about the covariances?
Sir, x1, x2 normal है.
x1, x2 have a negative correlation or covariance, and x1, x3 has positive. What about x2 and x3? They also have a positive. Okay. And what about the inverse covariance matrix? Values in x1, x2 are more close to their mean, which is also represented by their less variance. Okay. And there are no zeros here, so I can't say, but what about something close to 0, minus 0.33? x1, x2, x.
Positive correlation.
हाँ,
One or two positive with one
हाँ,
negatively correlated.
negatively.
Sir, x1, x2 है भी normal curve.
हाँ, नॉर्मल तो हैं ही सारे. अच्छा, अब ये जो क्वेश्चन है, what is the question asking you? I am asking you to define two more variables, y1 and y2, with the formula x1 minus x2 and x1 plus 2x3. How you are going to define them? y1 को कैसे estimate करेंगे?
x2. अच्छा सवाल.
लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे. Okay, so in this case, what we did, to calculate the mean, just find out the expected value of both the sides, and you will be able to estimate the expected value for y, which is exactly the mean. Ditto for this one. And for the covariance matrix, just take the cov function from on both sides for both the equations, and you will be able to estimate the values. Okay. So yeah, let's take the break now. So let me just. Okay. Okay, PCA. How many of you have heard about that? We have built upon the concept, so Zan has heard about it. Who else?
सर लास्ट सेमेस्टर भी हमने किया था आपके साथ ही.
हाँ, वो लास्ट सेमेस्टर जो किया था ना, वो बहुत ही बेड़ा गर्क किया था वो. ठीक है, so today we have to do that in terms of covariance matrix more clearly. So क्या मतलब है PCA का? Principal component analysis. It is a DR method that is often used to reduce the dimensionality of large data sets. So PCA, although is a very old approach, but still it is able to perform very well, even in comparison to methods like random forest feature selection, etc., etc. It basically depends on the data. If you have a sparse correlation matrix, ठीक है, कि कुछ जगह पे कोरिलेशन ज्यादा है, कुछ पे एवरेज है, कुछ इस तरह की स्पार्सिटी है, कुछ पे जीरो है. तो in that type of situation, PCA can perform pretty good. So I think 25 to 30 or 35 to 40 or even more than 50 columns पे PCA works pretty good. I don't know about the images. ठीक है कि when you have thousands of columns, so I don't know about that. Maybe इसकी कोई extension हो. It transforms a large set of variables into a smaller one that still contains most of the information in the large set. Information about what? The variance. ठीक है. The variance of the column, the variance, inter column variance आप कह लें, या correlation कह लें आप. ठीक है. Correlation is also built on the concept of variance, right? That's why we call it covariance. So the point is to just ensure that when I reduce the dimension, the patterns of variance do not change. ठीक है. Reducing the variables naturally comes at the expense of accuracy. जाहिर सी बात है. Working with the 25 variables and working with 10 variables will compromise something, right? Lot of data, in fact. But the trick in DR is to trade accuracy for simplicity. So you do that, right? Okay, you are compromising the accuracy, but it makes it more simple. So make the analysis of data much easier and faster for machine learning algorithms without extraneous variables to process. So machine learning में चीज़ है. The only catch is कि you are not left with the original variables. So if I use PC and I tell it that I got 2 principal components to learn, so I am mapping from 25 to 2 dimension. So in that case, I'm going to get 2 columns, but they have nothing to do with the original columns except that they are catering for the variance patterns. So there's no name of column, it's just X1 and X2. In the case of machine learning, that could be not acceptable to someone that no, I want to learn a decision tree model in which I get the name of the columns. So in that case, you can't use PCA. Okay. So let's talk through the steps. Okay. So पहला step क्या है कि you standardize the data. We have talked about that in cluster analysis also. Okay, without standardizing the data, you might compromise on accuracy. So the first thing is to bring all the columns in the same range. ठीक है. यही चीज लिखी हुई. Each one of them contributes equally to the analysis. PCA is sensitive regarding the variances of the initial variables. That's the main part that you need to keep in mind. Okay, it is going to do everything with respect to the variance. PCA जो है ना, वो उसका जो method of working है, that is dependent on the variance values. So we'll see how that happens. So it's very sensitive to that. ठीक है. That is, if there is a large difference between the ranges of initial variables, those variables with larger ranges will dominate over those with smaller ranges. That is why it is important to standardize. If the column has higher variance, then it is most likely to become a principal component as compared to a column which has lesser variance, right? Or the other way around, whatever. The variance is going to impact the selection of the principal component. I don't want that to happen. I want it to be equally weighted. Just because कि मैंने standardize नहीं किया, उसकी वजह से principal components को biasness में ले आऊं, that is not acceptable to me. So therefore, before I apply PCA, I have to absolutely apply the standardization technique so that if some column has a very high or very low variance, it does not influence the selection of the principal components. ठीक है? Similar to clustering. ठीक है? For example, a variable that ranges between 0 and 100 will dominate over a variable whose values ranges between 0 and 1. ठीक है? This is going to lead to biasness. So we transform by this order. Transformation is why we use the Z transformation. Yeah, I'm sorry. अब इसको इस तरह आप देख रहे हैं. I'm just gonna put it down. सही है? Is this clear? So the next thing is to compute the covariance matrix. So you absolutely know now okay, what is the covariance matrix. Okay? So the aim of the step is to understand how the variables are varying from the mean with respect to the diagonal is going to tell you the dispersion from the mean or the variance, and the off diagonal values are going to tell you the covariance. ठीक है? So इससे पता चल जाएगा कि उनके आपस में correlation के कैसे यानी मामला चल रहे हैं. Okay. Because sometimes variables are highly correlated in such a way that they contain redundant information. That's what we are discussing since ML1. Okay? So we compute so they move together in a positive direction, negative direction. So you know what that means now. Okay? Compute the eigenvectors and eigenvalues of the covariance matrix to identify the principal components. What is an eigenvector? Every vector for any vector I can compute an eigenvector, and any eigenvector has an eigenvalue with it. If there is an eigenvector, it will have an associated eigenvalue with it. So vector और eigenvector में क्या फर्क है? I think eigenvector is a vector which is independent of the direction. Independent of the magnitude or direction.
Sir, नहीं, eigenvector direction होता है, eigenvalue.
So principal component analysis basically means कि if you specified a value of 2, ठीक है? इसका मतलब ये है कि if you currently have 25 columns, so you basically have 25 vectors. ठीक है? And you can't visualize obviously, but it is 25 dimension, 25D, right? You want to convert from 25D to 2D. So the only possible way to do that is to ensure कि वो जो दो dimensions हैं, या if you specify p equals to 3, so all of these dimensions are perpendicular to each other. So if you're mapping from 25D to 2D, then the mathematically the way to do that is to ensure that like the x and y axis, they are at 90 degrees to each other. So I have to ensure that those two columns are orthogonal to each other, those two directions that I'm getting. First of all, I have 25 different directions, right? Like x axis, a axis, b axis, c axis, d axis, 20 till 25. ठीक है? क्योंकि I have 25 columns, so one row represents 25 values. So one coordinate means 25 numbers. ठीक है ना? But I want to convert that to 2D. Okay? So the only way to do that is to have two dimensions. सही है? So those two dimensions have to be orthogonal to each other. That is our requirement. सही है? कि वो जो दो axes होंगे, that means two axes, right? So those two axes are going to be absolutely orthogonal or 90 degrees to each other. In every situation. If I have to convert from a higher dimension to a lower dimension, PCA has that requirement. Okay. So for that particular reason, we have to compute the eigenvectors, because the dot product of two eigenvectors is 0. And that means that they are orthogonal to each other. So the concept of orthogonality is very important in dimensionality reduction. It's not only used in PCA, it is also used in LDA. And both of them are very famous dimensional reduction techniques. ये use होती है industry में, ठीक है? So please इसको जरा ध्यान से सुन लीजिएगा. Okay, principal components का मतलब क्या है? Are the new variables. That I'm talking 2D, 25 columns to 2 columns. So those 2 columns are called principal component, component 1 and component 2. ठीक है? They are the new variables that are constructed as linear combinations or mixtures of the initial variables. So how many initial variables I had? 25. So if I have to construct a principal component or two principal components, then each component has to be a linear combination of those 25 variables. Not all the 25 variables. Maybe a linear combination of some of them. जैसे यहाँ पे हम क्या कर रहे थे? y1 plus y2, y1 equals to x1 plus x3, for example. So y1 is a linear combination of x1 and x3. That is what it means. So how do I find those linear combinations? So I find those linear combinations through the concept of eigenvectors and their corresponding eigenvalues. So abhi ye tafsil aa jayegi uski. Just try to understand the concept. I have 25 columns. Some of the columns are correlated. Sahi hai? So I find out their linear combination, and based on the linear combination, I discover new principal components in such a way that each principal component is orthogonal to all the other ones. So typically we start with 2 or 3. If 2 or 3 can capture your variance, it's good for you. The machine learning algorithm will tell you whether the variance has been captured or not. If its accuracy is good, that means the variance has been captured. If not, then that means you need to increase the number of principal components. Okay? So principal components, you can start with 2 or 3, and then maximum you can say 4 or 5. So then I think it's going to be easy for you to. So these combinations are done in such a way that the new variables are uncorrelated. That is the main point. Each principal component is orthogonal to each other. Orthogonal mein agar main unka cos 90 nikalta hu, that means zero correlation. We already saw that in that vector notation. Okay? So they are uncorrelated, and most of the information within the initial variables is squeezed or compressed into the first components. I have to put 25 things. I first had 25 boxes. Now I have 2 boxes. So obviously the data is the same. So I have to squeeze the data and forcibly put it in one box and the other box. That's what we have to do. But while making sure that the variance remains the same, I capture the variance in the original data set. That is the important part, because the variance has everything to do with the density function, and I can't mess with the density function. Okay? Or the joint up jo bhi keh rahe. So the idea is a 10-dimensional data gives you 10 principal components. So if I have 10-dimensional data, will you take 10 principal components? I'm doing dimensionality reduction, right? So why would I take 10? तो मैं पुराना data इस्तेमाल कर लेता हूँ, अगर 10 ही लेने तो. So I'll just take 2, for example. ठीक है? But PCA tries to put the maximum possible information in the first component. So the component that is most usable for you is the first one, then the second one, then the third one. So there is a ranking. Not all the components are important. The first one is ranked according to some of its eigenvalue. तो अभी उसकी तफसील देख लेते हैं. ठीक है? So step 1, standardize. Step 2, compute the covariance matrix. Step 3, compute the eigenvectors and eigenvalues of the covariance matrix. So in Python, this is just like 3 lines of code up to now. Okay. Okay, so you can see here that this is what we want to achieve. Percentage of explained variance. So the first principal component is the most important one, because it is explaining like 45% of the variance in the total data set. That's what we want, right? We want the, what do you mean by explanation of variance? इसका मतलब क्या है इस term का? Yes, the pattern of variance, how the values of variance are occurring across the different columns. पहले column की क्या variance है, दूसरे की क्या है? What is that pattern of variance? So when I say the first component explains the variance in, let's say, 40% of the columns, it means I can approximate 40% columns by one column, which is just the first component, because it is explaining the variance, or in other words, the probability density of those number of columns by just one column. So just keep this in mind. Okay, the first component explains the variance the most in the original data set, followed by the second, followed by the third. But all of these components are orthogonal to each other. That is what you want to keep in mind, definitely. Okay? We don't take all the components, right? We just take the first 2 or 3. देखें, आपका सवाल अच्छा है कि if they are not correlated, then हमारे किस काम के? The point is कि when I discover the eigenvectors, So I already squeezed the information in that vector. My data is already in the vector. So I don't want the components to be correlated because that is going to create confusion for me. जो original data में correlation है, that I want that to be captured by the principal component and let them be independent of each other. The information is in the vector itself. ठीक है? So organizing the information in this way will allow you to reduce the dimensionality without losing much information. ठीक है? And then and this by discarding the components with low information and considering the remaining components as your new variables. So in this case, so IFCK, I just take the first two components. That's it. I can discard the other ones. They don't carry much information for me. That is, they don't explain that much of the variance in the data set. Okay? So PCs are less interpretable and don't have any real meaning. It's not any column name, right? PCs represent the directions of the data that explain a maximum amount of variance. ये बस आपको चीजें याद रखनी है. The principal component means कि they are explaining the variance up to what level वो आप ग्राफ से देख सकते हैं. Larger the variance carried by a line, the larger the dispersion of the data points along it, and larger the dispersion along a line, the more information it has. ठीक है? So इसकी मिसाल इस तरह है. हाँ, ये है. So it is trying out different principal components. So which is the best one? What should be the first component? हाँ, ये जो अब जो आएगी ना पोजीशन, ये वाली, ये ठीक है, जो बीच में आई है ना, जिसमें वो पर्पल लाइनों के जो across, that is giving you the most information because it is helping you explain most of the variance in the data. When I have the component in that direction, so I'm able to explain most of the variance because the points are lying along that direction. सही है, not the other ones. It's approximately the line that matches the purple marks because it goes through the region, and it's the line in which the points are spread out the most. So the direction in which the points are spread out the most, that is the most important principal component. Okay? It's the line that maximizes the variance. So eigenvectors, they always, so every eigenvector has an eigenvalue. Their number is equal to the number of dimensions. So the जितने dimensions हैं उतने eigenvectors होंगे, but we are not going to use all of them. ठीक है, ये तो है. ये चीज है. Now listen to this carefully. The eigenvectors are actually the directions of the axis. They are new axis, mind you. Eigenvector is not x-axis or y-axis. Any two axes can be perpendicular to each other. Why do I have to be x or y? X or y का concept ज़हन से निकाल दें. I can go like in this direction. मेरा one vector is going like this, and orthogonal other vector can go like this or like this. In both directions, so orthogonal. The point is that they have to be orthogonal. So what is the definition? Eigenvectors are actually the directions of the axis. Please mind this. They are the directions. These two directions where there is most variance. So that is the definition of an eigenvector. An eigenvector is a vector which is able to explain most of the variance in the data. So the direction in which I am explaining the variance can be defined by the eigenvector. So if my covariance matrix contains 25 variables, so I have to estimate 25 eigenvectors, but not all of the eigenvectors will be able to explain the variance in the data set. So I will just select the top two. So eigenvector के बगैर वो काम हो नहीं सकता because I have to maintain also the orthogonality assumption or the requirement, and they are called the principal. So the eigenvectors को ही we call them the principal components. ठीक है? And the eigenvalues are simply the coefficients attached to the eigenvectors which give the amount of variance. What is the amount of variance? So for example, the eigenvector is going in this direction and the other one is going in this direction. So it means that the variance is being captured in these two directions. That is what it means. अब कितनी variance capture हो रही है, that is given by the eigenvalue. Okay, the vector itself means where the variance is being captured, in which direction the variance is being captured, and the eigenvalue will tell you how much variance is being captured. सही है? So simply standardize the data, calculate the covariance matrix, calculate the eigenvector and eigenvalue of the covariance matrix, sort them according to their eigenvalues, and the one which is giving you the highest value is the one which is the best principal component. इतना आसान काम है, ठीक है? By ranking your eigenvectors in the order of their eigenvalues, highest to lowest, you get the principal components order. It's as simple as that, just 3 steps. ठीक है? So ये तो clear हो गया. But there's still more to discuss. अभी इतना भी आसान नहीं है. So for example, in this case, I have lambda. Lambda is how you present the eigenvalue. So this is the first eigenvector I estimate in 2D data, and this is the second eigenvector, but the values are here, which is what we want. So this component is more important for me than this component. So in the 2D case, I don't need to do dimension reduction in 2D, but just for explanation, right? 2D case के अंदर I will just select this one D vector and go. So just one column on which I want to predict the label, because this is very high and this is very low. Obviously, its eigenvalues means it explains nothing. So in order to understand कितनी variance explain हो रही है, so just normalize. So 1.28 divided by 1.28 plus 0.04, so that is 96%. So this eigenvector is able to explain 96% of the variance, and this eigenvector is explaining only 4% of the variance. सही है? So this 1.28 over 1.28 plus 0.04, just you calculate the ratio. So 96 and 4%. So there's no match. So I'll just use one of them. Just one principal component is enough. ठीक है? Then we have the feature vector. Means ke if I have selected the components, let me say I select I want 3 components, the first top 3 components. So how many vectors is how many components, how many elements are going to be in my feature vector? अगर मेरे पास 25 data था, I calculated 25 eigenvectors and I selected the top 3. So what is the size of the feature vector? 3. That's it. ठीक है? Keep all the components, discard of low eigenvalues, उसको discard करते हैं, and the remaining ones is the feature vector. That's it. So for 25 size feature vector to 3 size feature vector. That's it. ठीक है? It's simply a matrix that has as columns the eigenvectors, the components that you decide to keep. Now this feature vector becomes your new training data. सही है? This is the first eigenvector and this is the second eigenvector. So now this becomes your training data. खत्म. ठीक है? So if we have p eigenvectors out of n dimensions, the final data set will only have p dimensions. ठीक है? सही है जी? Clear है? And now recast the data along the principal component axis. So we had 25 dimensions. We selected 2. We calculated the 25 eigenvectors, 25 eigenvalues. उसको sort किया. We selected the top 2, which were giving us the most information, which were explaining the most variance. And now we have those principal components. Now what we have to do? Recast the data along the axis of principal component. My training data is in 25D. Components तो मैंने निकाले, data को भी तो map करना है. I have to recast my training data, which is in 25 dimensions, to 2D along the direction of these 2 eigenvectors, which are orthogonal to each other. तो उसके लिए the final data set equals to transpose of the feature vector, which I have already calculated. This is a matrix, and the product with standardized original data set का transpose. So just multiply the new eigenvector matrix by the original क्या कहते हैं data to get the new data. You just have to do the dot product. I think तो इसका दोनों का transpose लेना पड़ेगा.
And so this original data set will have the 25 features.
Yeah, exactly. नहीं, when you multiply them, then the output is going to be a 3 by 3 matrix or 2 by 2 जो भी है, ठीक है? So that's a step. ये 5 steps थे, खत्म, ठीक है? This is अच्छा. PCA is not going to take care of the class labels. PCA is only going to work on the training data. Class labels तो आपने separate कर दिए ना. Y vector is out of picture when you do machine learning, right? The Y column is not there. It is a classification label. So PCA does not cater for the fact, okay, what is the class label? That is dangerous. Because I assume the distribution of data is different for each class. Isn't that true, right? That is why I have classified. If I have classified my customers into 3 categories, I am 100% sure that their probability, joint probability density of my gold customers is different from the joint probability density of my silver customers or platinum customers. ये बात सही है कि नहीं है? That is why I have categorized them. The class is different. So their training data is supposed to be different from each other. लेकिन principal component analysis में I'm not catering for any class labels. I don't care. I just look at the whole data set together and calculate the components. So LDA is a better version of PCA, which caters for the class labels. Now how that happens? Just let's. इतना मुश्किल नहीं है. Let's see. ठीक है. It is the most commonly used as DR technique in the pre-processing step for machine learning applications. I'm sure कि आप में से किसी ने भी इसको इस्तेमाल नहीं किया होगा. Text analytics में किया हुआ है. So you have to experiment that with the normal data science applications as well. ठीक है. The goal is to project a data set onto a load balancer with the same goal as PCA. लेकिन with a good class separability. If I am mapping to 2D, देखें, but we how if I have this, okay, I have 2 classes. Let's say that this data is in 10D. So 2 classes, circles and crosses. If I map this data from 10D to 2D, what would I want? How can I in which situation the machine learning model is going to learn well? If these two labels are separable, if there is distance between them, enough distance between them for me to learn a linear hyperplane or whatever, like SVM के केस में जो हमने learn किया था, और regression के केस में I can learn a straight line, whatever, जो भी है, ठीक है. So regression तो खैर हो नहीं सकता है, तो classification problem है. So any classifier which can divide them, provided enough space. That's what I want, right? So when I map the data from 10D to 2D, अगर 10D to 2D करने से both labels get mixed up, then it is useless for me. Yeah, I reduce the dimension, but I can't do the classification. So LDA ensures that even if you do PCA on the data, your class labels will remain separated so that you can learn the classifier. So it is going to look at the Y column of the class labels as well as the training data. Okay? So let's see how that happens. So this definitely helps you avoid overfitting. Okay? If you simply do PCA and don't cater for the class label, then things get fired. लेकिन इसके भी experiments हो चुके हैं कि PCA के साथ classification task LDA से बेहतर performance आ रही है. ये भी हो चुका है. So it's all like trial and error, and it also reduced competition. LDA is very similar to PCA, but in addition to finding the components axes that maximize the variance, we are also interested in the axes that maximize the separation between multiple classes. So axes that explain most of the variance, plus the axes that are able to separate, keep the classes separated. In fact, ठीक है, जो original distribution है maintain रहे, तो classes should remain separate even if you map to 2D. सही है? So let's see how that happens. The algorithm is pretty simple क्योंकि PCA आप लोग पढ़ चुके हैं तो. So ये तो लवाजमाती बातें लिखी हुई कि into a smaller subspace while maintaining the cross information can be helpful to avoid overfitting. ठीक है. Both LDA and PCA are linear transformation techniques. PCA can be described as an unsupervised learning algorithm because we are not catering for the class labels. LDA, on the contrary, is supervised because we are considering the class labels. ठीक है. So PCA में what we were computing, the principal components. In the case of LDA, what we are computing, Yes. So collectively they are called linear discriminants. There we are computing the principal components. Here we are computing the linear discriminants. उनको हम linear discriminant कहते हैं. But the idea is the same, orthogonal to each other, and explaining the variance as well as the distribution of the class tables. Although it might sound intuitive that LDA is superior to PCA, but this is not always the case. ये मैंने आपको बता दिया है. So you can't say कि LDA is going to be always better than PCA for any classification task. That is wrong. सही है, तो इसके बारे में कोई गारंटी नहीं है.
For example, we are performing PCA and we are getting high component measure of high component classes that distinguishes that this feature is important, this dimension is important. In that case, isn't that also corresponding to class separability?
नहीं, because we are not considering the class labels while using PCA. Class labels का तो हम कोई है ही नहीं, ना जवाज ही नहीं है कहीं, ना उसका तस्करा है ना उसका यूजेज है. तो इसका algorithm let's see, then you will understand. ठीक है. So here PCA LDA is going to reduce the dimension as well as keep the classes separated, both things. ठीक है. Comparisons between classification accuracies for image recognition, which is a difficult task, show that PCA tends to outperform LDA. चलो भाई, ठीक है. If the number of samples per class is relatively small. In practice, it is also not uncommon to use both LDA and PCA in combination. For example, PCA for DR followed by an LDA. ये भी एक approach है. If you got a large number of variables, so first apply PCA and then apply LDA to maintain the class distance. So ये तो how that happens वो फिर playground में we'll see क्या playground में करके देखना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. So it's a
We cannot apply LDA for unsupervised learning.
LDA is not an unsupervised learning algorithm. It is a supervised क्योंकि उसमें labels हम इस्तेमाल करें. अभी let's look at the algorithm, then it will become clear. So this is just asking Lawazmati questions. ठीक है. This is our goal to reduce the dimension. What is how to select the value of K and how do we know that we represent well? So again, we compute the eigenvectors. In this case, we have one extra concept of scatter matrix. There we only had the eigenvectors in PCA. In this case, I calculate the eigenvectors as well as the scatter matrix. Scatter matrix basically tells you within a class, how much is the scatter or dispersion, and interclass, how much is the scatter or dispersion. So I calculate two matrices, the within class scatter and the interclass scatter, or the intraclass scatter and the interclass scatter. Just to understand के एक क्लास के अंदर पॉइंट्स कितने करीब हैं एक दूसरे के और दूसरी क्लास के मुकाबले में कितना दूसरे से दूर या करीब है. I have to calculate that, otherwise कैसे चलेगा काम. If I have to ensure the separability, I have to calculate both of these scatter matrices. Only then I will be able to ensure the separability in the lower dimension, right? So within the class scatter matrix and interclass scatter matrix. ठीक है. So if the eigenvalues have a set, तो ये तो ठीक है. So ये वही बात है जो हम पहले कर चुके हैं कि keep only those जिसके अंदर. So now this is the algorithm. So let me walk you through this very quickly. ठीक है. So first of all, I calculate the mean vector. So if I have 25 dimensions, so first of all I calculate the 25 dimension mean vector. So I have one vector with 25 values. Very simple. ठीक है. Compute the scatter matrices in between class and within class. I have explained this to you. ठीक है. Within class जो points हैं वो आपस में कितना एक दूसरे से करीब या दूर है, or how much they are scattered, and between the classes how much there is scattered. ठीक है. How much they are far away from each other basically. ठीक है. Then compute the eigenvectors, the d eigenvectors and their corresponding eigenvalues, which we represent by lambda, for the scatter matrices. Okay. Sort the eigenvectors by decreasing eigenvalues. Choose the top k eigenvectors. This is the same as the PCA case. So the only step you're adding in between is the calculation of the scatter matrices. There we were calculating the eigenvectors and the eigenvalues for the covariance matrix. Here we are calculating them for the scatter matrix. All the scatter matrix is also a sort of a covariance matrix. Let's see uski detail abhi dekh lete hain. And then again you use this D into K eigenvector matrix to transform the sum onto the new subspace. The points are exactly the same. You can write this in vector notation. You don't need to go kitne D into K, N into N. So iski example dekh lete hain. Iris data set to aapko pata hai na, it's very the most simple data set in Python. It has 3 classes and 4 features. 2 pattern length के हैं, 2 sepal length के features हैं, and it has 3 classes of iris flowers जो भी है, ठीक है. So first I calculate the mean vector for each class. For each class, mind you, not for just one class. Compute the d-dimensional mean vector for the different classes. So if I have 30 rows in the training data, 10 for each of the 3 classes. So the first 10 class 1, then class 2, then class 3. Okay. So I will have a mean vector for the first 10 rows. Oh yeah. Mean vector for the second 10 rows and mean vector for the third 10 rows. So for each class I have a mean vector. And why are these 4? Because I have 4 columns. Is it ठीक है? So पहला काम तो ये हो गया. The scatter matrix is calculated within class. Scatter matrix is calculated by this formula. Within class का क्या मतलब हुआ? हाँ, within the class. यानी within each 10 row. सही है? So x minus mi, which is the mean of that, into x minus mi transpose and sum over all the points from x to n for that particular class. ठीक है? That is the way it is calculated, and mi is the mean vector. Blah 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 blah. इससे आपको मिल जाएगा. So within class scatter matrix is this one. So why we have 4 values? 4 into 4, D into D. The scatter matrix is D into D. So what will this mean? The scatter within class. So we are no. We have 3 classes, right? So in this case, SI, I calculate SI for each class, right? Where SI is calculated as this one. But then I have to, in the scatter matrix, I am summing up over all the classes. It's a D into, it should be a D into D matrix. I'm sure it's a D into D matrix. So how does that happen? What does that mean? I have 3 classes and I have 4 dimension. So 4 का क्या मतलब होगा? If I take that scenario, okay, I have 10 points, 10 points, and 10 points. So I have total of 30 points, and I want to calculate this scatter. So this is so I calculate. Okay, just let me try it out here. So if I have, let's say I just run the first one. So let's say these are 30 rows. This is for the first class. This is for the second one, and this is so this is the first one. This is the third one. So I have these 30 rows. So these are 10 rows, 10 rows, and 10 rows. So how do I calculate the within class? How do I calculate the within class here? So this vector minus the mean vector of this class multiplied by the transpose of the same. Okay, plus this vector minus the mean vector multiplied by transpose of the same. So I will have one SI here, where SI is for the class 1, right? So I will have the scatter value for this one, a scatter value for this one, and a scatter value for this one, right? Yahi hoga? So how come I am having so many elements there? So within class mein, I just have, I calculate the variance, I calculate the scatter for each class separately, and then add them up. But somehow we have converted that to a matrix form in Python. We'll see the details about that later, inshallah. In the between class, what we are doing is we are again summing up over the classes. But how we are summing that up? In this case, M is the overall mean of the data set. Mi is the mean of each class. So now it comes the between class scenario. The mean of each class, because now we are summing up over C, not over the number of instances as in the within class case. ठीक है? अब हम पूरी classes के ऊपर करें तो in that case, and n is the or the sample mean and the size of the respective classes. So class में कितनी rows हैं? That is ni. So in this case we have 10, 10 and 10 in our own toy example. ठीक है? So that is again going to give you, in my according to me, just one value for the whole data set, right? हाँ, ये हो सकता है कि unless we are sampling over different, we are taking multiple samples, maybe उसकी base पे वो कर रहा हो बहरहाल. So that is the within class. So I get 4 eigenvectors now, and I get 4 eigenvectors based on the scatter matrices for the solving the generalized eigenvector for the matrix SW minus 1 inverse of the within class multiplied by the between class. So for this, you will calculate the eigenvectors. Okay, so you get 4 eigenvectors, and then you sort the values. The sorting way you get these values. So obviously, the first one there is explaining 99.15, 0.8500. So you are just gonna select these two, and that is going to be your choose the top two. So that is going to be 4 into 2 matrix when you map it. Okay. So just a few figures here. This is the iris projection onto the first 2 linear discriminants. So these are the 3 classes. So you can see ke ये class तो सही है, but these 2 classes are a bit merged. ठीक है? ये iris का है. अच्छा, बाद में ये transformation आपने लगानी होगी. Like in the case of PCA, to map the whole data to the 2 dimensions. ठीक है? अच्छा, PCA, there's not much difference if I apply the same data for PCA. So PCA में maybe it's a bit better or not, but the results is almost the same for that and that. ठीक है? ये थोड़ा सा it's a complicated concept. So I'll explain this probably in the next class. The singular value decomposition, ये तो it was so time कम हो गया यार. Okay, so what about the okay, so we if you want we can study half an hour more and finish it.